Okay, rolling, off you go, John. Thanks very much for doing the film. And you know, this is about the social history of the area and about Grattan Square and about the people living out here. So, John, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your family first.
Well, my name is Johnny Organ anyway, better known as Johnny Boats Organ. I don't know how I got the name as a young lad, but I was always around boats with my father. Like my late father died in 1968, patching Organ, you know. And all my uncles, like my father was able seaman, my grandfather able seaman, my uncle Matty, Billy, Mickey was lost. His name is up on the wall, you know, all the memorial thing for the walls. Michael Organ, like, you know, he lost at sea, young man. All I remember was my father, like, was fishing. It was all boating, I suppose, with everybody in Dungarvan, everybody. I do remember my father saying he came back to make his confirmation from sea, like. So, like, I mean, most lads had to go to sea, like, in them days to get fed, he told me. Because hunger that drove them away to sea, like, and it wasn't easy, as anybody know, like, any of the fishing, like, that was kind of the seafaring men, like, a lot of them came from Abbeyside, my village, and that's what they call the organs of Abbeyside, like, you know what I mean? It's, I think very well the oldest family is there, and there were mantle makers down by the church, and there was more of them lived on the Conigar, and so it came along from there, like, but my grown up days in the village, like, of Abbeyside, were happy days, like, you know. Like, I can remember going down to the boat with my father, like, out in the back, and, you know what I mean, my late brother Nin, when he passed away very, very shortly ago, like, and when my father passed away, like, he kind of took me under his wing then, like, he took me under his wing from a baby too, like, you know, and showed me the ropes and the two of us, like, and there's good times but sad times, like, you know what I mean, when you move on, like, two of us fished all night in the dark, and but you know what I mean, like, boat racing, won many a boat races, like, and up against the Kennedy family, and it was, you know what I mean, it was Abbeyside against Dungarvan at all stages, you know?
Was that rowing now?
Rowing, yeah.
Okay.
And there was all old tricks in the thing. You used to put grease on the boats, like, at that time, like, because they didn't have anti-fouling for paint and them, but they had all tar. Everything was done with tar. So, like, they made the boat go faster, like, they used to put grease, oily grease to make it go through. But when the race was over, like, everyone had to brace the counter, but Johnny only got a bottle of lemonade or orange and told go home. But the check was put up and the money was put up, and you had Collins the Key there, where the moorings is now. Lovely bear, it has been a lovely bear. The Quinn family run it there, Marie, and like, she's the owner of it, Marie Quinn, and her dad Jim, and her mother, like, and they keep a good house there, you know what I mean? And like, I have a pile of memories, like, about my own little village too, like, you know, and we used to play in the pond just across the way. We were looking over there with the cars, and, like, that's where I went to school, that's where I started in school. Do you know what I mean?
And the Abbeyside then was obviously very different to the town.
Well, we always, like, it was like, there was always a bit of rivalry there, and the hurling and football, like, you know what I mean? But most of my friends really came from the town. But yet, when Abbeyside and Dungarvan was playing, like, it was a rival, you know what I mean? And, like, there was some great days, like, over in the village, like, you know what I mean, coming over. And Mr. Foley teaching us there, like, and teaching us then down the Stokes' field, just down the way. Anybody in the town will know what it is, down by the church. And you had Jack Tierney's house there. I used to sell the milk for him, you know, from door to door, before you went to school in the morning when you came home. You know what I mean? And Jim Welch Cool Nagower and John Beresford, late John Beresford was a great friend of the family. Good fisherman too, like, in later life. And you know what I mean? You had to go picking periwinkles, and you didn't get the price of the pictures, you earned it, like. You know, it's like respect, you don't get respect, you earn respect, like.
So there's no such thing as pocket money around there? It was
no pocket money, you were lucky, like, there were hard times, like, I mean, there was a big family of us there, like, you know, and 15 of us, and, do you know what I mean, a lot of them went to England then young, like, and I never lived with them, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I only lived mostly with my sister Nellie, Leigh, Bunny, Terry, and then my brother's building in Turkey, like my brother Bill died shortly after my mum, like, you know, my mother, like, and that kind of broke her heart too, like, he was young and good singer now, and we used to have many a song with seven my brothers. We'd have, even there would only be four of us in the pub, like, over in Kylie's, over there, the village, and actually my brother, the late brother, he still owned it, like, his daughter had it over there, the other side. We used to call it Alice Kylie's, and we'd have a rattle but we could sing songs all day and never sing the same song, like.
Sure.
But none of us had the same. I'd be the balladeer, and then it'd be the sea dog, like, you know what I mean? He'd all sea shanties, which he brought his way with him. Sadly to say, never gave Anton away as a gazzy, because he said he young. That was his way, you know. But, like, to talk about, like, then, like, he was a man that everyone loved to see over the pond in Abbeyside. You know what I mean? They knew his bike, the kids knew him, everybody loved him. And he inherited that down from his father, like, you know. It was Paddy Organ, with the nickname on us all, like. I'd be Boats, Joseph would be Tucky, Billy be Rocky, called him after Dickie Rock. Matty went to England, they gave him no name, I don't know what. But, like, you had Bonnie, Terry, Nelly, Laird, but that's none of the right names, like. Yeah. They're all nicknames.
And were you one of the youngest in the family then?
I was the youngest.
Oh.
Like, there's one younger at the clan, he was down Wexford. I had an uncle there, Billy, he was a guard at Horton Harbour, and he had a son there, Jerry, and he'd be the youngest, just younger than me, so he'd be the youngest of the whole clan, like, of the old land, like, you know. And
was that why then you didn't have to go to England, because your older brothers went and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I went over, I got married in England to Elizabeth Welch, Betty Welch, you know, and we came back, but the family of five, like, Pat, Matthew, Lisa, Bill, and then Neil. So the lads, they fished with me for a while, you know, when they were kids, like, young lads at sea. They were good lads. I remember one day when I was at sea, we were fishing salmon down on the Valley of Isle, and Richie Tobe, good friend of mine, we're all sea dogs, all sea fishermen are friends anyway, because you don't need enemies at sea. And he said, well, Johnny, he said, who was holding the net? He said, who was steering the boat, he said, when you were holding the net? And I said, the little young, the young lad. Macho, he said. And he said, I used to stand him up in my box so he could see out the window. And I just tell him, just give her a tip ahead, like, you know what I mean, to go ahead. And he had off to a tee, like. But he said, that bait's banner now, they'd be dirty, but they were good lads, you know what I mean? They weren't afraid of the water. Like, I mean, talking about that, they were small lads, but Pat now was bigger, like. There'd be 3 years between them, like. But yet, he took bad old days with me, like, you know what I mean?
And would you be kind of like an inshore fisherman?
Yeah. Well, my late father, like, he was a genius. Not because he was my father, but I mean, everybody knew him what his capabilities were like. When it came to the old, like, he was at sea, and when he came back from sea, he had a boat called the Nancy W42, which was famous around the village at the time. You know, everyone knew the Nancy W42. That was registration. He had a good couple of boats, you know. And that was my nephew Paddy, another fish out there, gone up the road, Paddy Rare. But anyway, make a long story short, there's nothing that he wouldn't do with a boat, like, in canvas. And to watch him, like, to sit down at the fire and watch him with the palm and eat, and he's sewing the canvas, like, sewing the sails at the fire. And you know what I mean? He was just gifted, like, but that was, you had to do that at sea anyway. He'd be splicing and mending, and my brother Lynn, like, he had it all off to a T too, like. He could use the palm and needle, but Johnny was so wild and too young to do that, like, you know what I mean? But Lynn did take it up, like, you know, because he loved it. He, like my father, he loved the boats and out. Now, even though he worked in the factory and all, but he fished as well, like, you know.
And like, I mean, with the fishing, you wouldn't really make a living, would you?
No, not. They were hungry days. You wouldn't make, like, it was just, when they came back from sea, like, my father, he'd work on the docks. You know what I mean? Like, driving the winch and the boats, like, you know what I mean? That, like, the coal boats. I remember bringing over the little Billy Grattan, my poor mother, Lord, you know, she, you know what I mean, whatever they could rattle up as a sandwich, that's what they had, that's what they got. And you bring over the gallon of tea, like, and they meant that you only see their eyes, they'd be black with the coal dust. Do you know what I mean?
It's tough work.
And it was tough work, like. And as they said, iron men and wooden boats, now there's wooden men and iron boats. That's how tough they were, like small men. And they had no big steak dinners, but yet they were able to work, like. They were built for it, like, you know what I mean? A fat man was no good like me, you know what I mean? That kind of way. But like, it was like, the key of Dungarvan, then when I grown up, like, there was logs of timber, like, and there was sand, well, the sand came later, so it was mostly coal and timber, like, and then the manure started to come in, like, and like, I used to work on the docks, I worked on the coal boats. Now, that was late in life, like, you know what I mean? The last coal boats that came in, but as we're standing here now, the old coal yard was here. Coal was coming in, like, hundreds and thousands of tons of it, like, you know. But then the coal boats moved up the quay, we moved up, then they moved the crane. There was a big crane there, just behind us there, and that was shifted in, so the boats went up the quay, like. And there was a good living made out of the boats, like, they were coming and going. And I remember you have this, the trawlers coming in, like the Scotchmen came in here, the Western men, like Skibbereen, Skull, you name it, all Western boats, like, they came down, and it was a proud, you know, to stand on the quay, watch them putting the fish, like, and prawns was no good in there. They clear the decks to kick the prawns off the decks at sea, like. And now the delicacy and monkfish wasn't eaten. Believe it or not, now it's prime fish.
Yeah, big money
fish, like, and that time they were dumping the prawns and the monk and all that was no good. They didn't have any. The first place I ate a bit of monkfish was up in Cappoquin, believe it or not. In uni, actually, Chipper and Cappoquin. My sister said that I couldn't, and she came down and she said to my father, Daddy, she said, "Do you ever ate monkfish?" Go away, girl, he said. You wouldn't believe it. But they were selling it up there, like, and my God, it was beautiful, you know. But like, as you say, inshore fishing, we trawled, my father, God bless him, he used to trawl the whole harbour out there, you know, out the channel out, and that'd be in the morning, and he'd have ray and plaice, and you know what I mean, himself and in, like, the two of them would go off trawling, like, and I was too young, and Tucky used to do a bit with him, and Lord, the rest of my brother Bill worked in the factory at the time, but didn't give a lot of time, and Tucky gave a lot of time, and then I came along. But we used to throw right out the harbour there, and we get big plaice and by Jesus big rays, and then when the tide be coming, we throw the Western Bay, like way up there, and we get all flounder. Do you know what I mean? And that went on and on and on, and then we went mackerel fishing as well in the summertime, and it was hard going to row a boat from, say, Dungarvan, the quay in Dungarvan, or the pier on Abbey side we'd be going for. Always Abbey side, you know. And then the quay goes sometimes where the tide would be. And to row out to Helvig, believe you me, or down to Ballyvile. And then he was a highly educated man in his own right, like. But he started to get the old Model A's and the Model B Ford engines. So he started to put them into it. And what he done, he had great friends like John Daly, he worked in Maloney's there, and the big family of him there, John Daly, the sailing boat, Richard Daly, Paddy, just he's buried his son there lately, Paddy, God bless him, and he was a mechanic, and what they done, and then you had Tom Power up by the bridge there, Power's garage, Tom Power, he was another friend of my father's, Thomas Fennell, Lord have mercy on him, he had a garage as well, and Jimmy Cummins, and Eddie Cullen, and all they say 2 heads is better than one, but they had about 5 or 6 heads better than one. And he put the hot plate onto the manifold, started on petrol, and he built the hot plate onto the manifold, and he used to keep the engine hot, because if she stopped, she was there to take her out again that evening. But like Jimmy Cummins would be always there at hand, like, great friend of the family altogether, and every boats, like. But they were way ahead of their time, like. Do you know what I mean? It was all magnetic, you know what I mean, a mag. There were no alternators in them days, like. and you had to time him. And if that wasn't right, you wouldn't fire. But then there are two churns pumping water from one to the other. You'd be filling the churns. But like, they'd break down. But every Sunday then we'd go off, like, and I was only a little lad, like my grandson is sitting down there on the grass now, Jaden. And Jimmy get a big bag of sweets, and we'd go off. There could be Passage East, Passage West, there could be any place there was a boat. Any place. And they didn't.
The outings.
Yeah, we go off then, like as I say, Jimmy Cummins and Eddie Cullen and my father and myself, I'd go off, like, and wherever it took us, Passage East, Passage West, Dunmore, the cars were all bangers at that time, but like, I was looking forward to a Sunday because none of them drank. I don't ever remember my father drinking any beer or anything like that, like, you know, whether he did in his younger days, he didn't do it in my days anyway, you know. But it was a happy growing up, like, we'd be sitting around the old fire in the night, Saturday night, we'd be scrubbed up, like, you know what I mean? If our mother would be after lashing out. Oh, cleanliness was godliness, you know. But she'd have us all scrubbed up, so we'd sit around our range, and he'd be telling us stories and sing a song, like. We all had to sing, like. We didn't have to sing, we loved singing. What they used to call the organ, lads out there, who were bathroom house singers. Do you know what I mean? Whoever get into the bathroom would be giving it, you know, giving it. Like, I never read a song out of a book in my life. Here I could sing songs all day.
John, give us a song now.
Well, I'm too hoarse now.
Go on, give us a quick verse.
Well, to be honest about it, I think I broke my voice a long time ago, you know what I mean?
Go on,
but,
give us a bathroom one.
Jesus, would you believe it? I can't remember, but my brother used to sing love.
I'll give you a hand.
He had some great old songs, like, you know what I mean?
I'll give you one song about
What do you give a song about?
farming.
You can do that in a minute, Jane. I'll get you to stand in a minute with me, Jane, all right? But like...
there was you said a verse earlier on that was written about you.
Yeah, Benny Murphy, an old friend of mine, he was sitting, I was painting the board up at the quay there, you know. And Benny said to me, "What?" He said, "See, no one knows me as Johnny. If you call Johnny, I'd hardly answer to it." Because there was a man came to the front door one day, and my mother-in-law, the messenger, went out, and he said, "Is Johnny Organ here?" "No, but he lives up the road." That was my first cousin. He lives up the road, she said. And he was glad, you know what I mean? That did happen, like, I mean, the truth, like, but like, I don't know where I got the name Johnny Boats, you know what I mean? But Benny said I must write a poem about you, but he did. And he's sitting on the quay, like, and he said to me, "Now," he said, "there you are." He said, so he said, "I'll get it typed out." But it went along like this anyway. Johnny Boats, a man of the ballad of Johnny Boats. Johnny Boats, a man of the sea, who battled many a wave. As he skippered his vessel across the bar, he said he'd be no man's slave. And down below in the silent deep, the dogfish live in fear, and the conger hide among the rocks when Johnny's boat draws near. Now MacAlpine built the motorways and Wimpy underground, but boats he headed off to sea where the cod and ling were found. This man who came from Slate Lane, where Cromwell feared to trade it, with his battleships of tin heads after coming round Helvick Head. So that's the ballad of Johnny Boats, a man who sings from the heart, who drank his fill with the best of men after sailing home in the night. That man wrote them words for me just sitting on the quay, like. Do you know what I mean? And that was like, he wrote another couple of them there, but they were nothing to do with the sea. But as I say, like, I had a great life growing up.
And Johnny, you worked for a lot of different companies in town, didn't you?
I had more jobs than dinners. I was 3 times in the leather factory, and basically you wanted a letter from the Pope when I got in there first. And then I wanted to be, I went to the technical school for a year or two after living Abbey Side. Do you know what I mean? And didn't like school much anyway. I never had any resentment about it. The lads, I sat down outside solicitors, you know what I mean, the same classes fellas got on in life and done well, fair play to them. But me and a couple of my mates, we never went to school.
And why was it so hard to get into the leather factory originally?
I don't know, it was the dirtiest job was ever there, but it was the only job I really liked as a job. Like. outside of the sea, like. But, Jesus, it was rough work now, taking out pelts and put your hand, like, I mean, your shoulder up to that, like, and you're breaking the ice in the morning on these paddles, and that thick, and your hands inside that all day. Like, I mean, you'd be better off inside in the nick. You know what I mean? But they were a happy community of work. My brother Bill, he worked there, and then my brother, he worked there, and I worked there. But there was three of us getting it, like, a job was a job then, to either take the boat to England, or, you know what I mean, to get into the factories was like a letter from the Pope. But,
And it was dirty work, wasn't it?
oh, it was filthy. Maggots jumping around your hair, and coming in the summertime, or the smell of you know what I mean? It was degrading, you know what I mean? It was a happy job.
It was good atmosphere.
And I loved it. Like, I used to have the manager. Really, I didn't give a care about nothing. Like, if I was sacked, I was sacked. And I'd be praying against it. But he used to come along and he'd say, you know what I mean? But I had him around my finger. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, when you look someone straight in the eye, hit him straight on. Like, he's a weak man then, you know what I mean? It's like a bully. If you face a bully, you run away. You know what I mean? That's the way. But I used to face the manager, and other fellas be running away. Hide. Oh, jeez, here's the manager coming. But I used to have the crack with him, you know. I said to him, God, I said, she trusts you well. One day he came in and he said, he was a great man, Mr. O'Brien. And I said, she left you well this morning. I said, what do you mean, Mr. O'Brien? He said, well, it's like this. I said, Mr. O'Brien, I said, that leather jacket, I said, you know what I mean? Cream pants, I said, oh, Oxford shoes, I said, I mean, you cream socks, I said. And oh my God, I said, mother, what, you couldn't have you out better, I said. Oh, he said, don't tell anyone I bought that leather jacket in London, he said. And he was the manager of the leather factory here. So then he took me under his wing, he was there, but I jacked and I come back again. And they'd seen me, and Michael Brennan, who lives in Kilrossley, was the works, he was, Mr. Booth was the works manager, songman from Dublin, grand man. And Michael Brennan then, they'd seen me, and he was the time and motion man, he used to do all that, and he worked in the office, and I'd be reading up this time and motion to us. You had to do too much, and I couldn't do enough of bonus. So one particular day, Michael came over to visit me to see what's the story. And here I was reading the Pigeon book in behind him. No boats, he said, if you have time to read Pigeon books, he said, in the middle of the day, you have time to work, he said, you know. You're not getting paid for the crack, he said. So that, you know what I mean? Michael was a great man too, like, and he had to work hard in his life, but the leather factory, like, you know, when you think back, like, the first morning I went into Paddy Sullivan, now they must say, they're all gone now, you know, and he said to me, now lads, he said, I'm going to tell you something. Half the factory has gone mad, and the other half is going mad. But he said, you're all right, if you talk to yourself, you're all right, but if you answer yourself back, you're finished. But I said to myself, where am I after leaving myself into? But, like, Councillor Hackett, Noel Hackett, he was a great man. I was trained in every field in the tannery, like, from the time the skins came in. I was offered a good option to get on, going up the ladder if I wanted it, but Johnny didn't want any responsibilities, you know. I was trained in every aspect. Rather, like, I was always pulling strokes, like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be bad strokes like today, but one particular day I went back to the second time. My brother-in-law was in charge of all the dyes and all the leather, like Michael O'Reilly, and he was married to my sister. Anyway, I thought he'd be gone home. So I was putting this water into the drums. He used to break up the leather, like, you know. And it used to be, but what they couldn't understand, upstairs, like, some of the leather was like really, you know, soft, and other stuff was hard. They didn't know boats was pulling the stroke, did they? See, and I had my time done like that. So he walked up behind me, he said, Boats, he said, don't you put water in that drum, he said. Ah, go away, I said, well, I was caught, like, shouldn't have been down there. Ah, I said, when I was here before, I said, Sam Kennedy's drums, I said, we used to always put water in the dry drums up there. And how long are you doing that, I said. I said, since I came back, he said. Since you came back, he said. Next evening I went in anyhow, put a feather on his cap. Please add so many pints of water in. Please add so many pints of water. So, like, you know what I mean? I was after putting a feather on his cap, so then they discovered where the good stuff was coming and where the bad stuff was coming. You know what I mean? But I was trained in every aspect of the factory from the time that the skin came in off the sheep to the time it went out the door. Every aspect. I could have moved up, but I didn't want any responsibility.
And what was that but didn't want responsibility? Was because you say in your poem as well that you want to be a free spirit.
Well, it's like the travelling man. Like, there's a big connection between travelling people and the fisherman. A fisherman goes to sea in the morning. Different place every day. If there's nothing here, you move on. You keep moving on. Same as the travelling people, that culture. They like not to be fixed in one place. And we didn't want to be fixed in one place either. Fisherman's life is, you don't know what you're going to get in the morning. When you leave there, you hand over to your higher power, the man above. Do you know what I mean? And you wouldn't ask, like, when will we be back? Because the man above brought you back. You always had lowest water, holy water, very close. You're on a boat.
So there's kind of
fish.
A philosophy of living for the day.
Live for the day. And to hell with tomorrow. Yesterday's history, and tomorrow's a mystery. You know what I mean? I learned that a long time ago. You can't turn back. Yesterday's history, a fella told me, tomorrow's a mystery, both. So you live today. But a fisherman, like, it was a rough life. Like a day like today, I was standing down there where the old Garda station, just behind St. John's Castle there. But it's a lovely day. But then when the winter comes, you'll be brown and you'll be this and that, your hands will be brown. But when the work came into it then in the winter time, in the summertime too, like, we had to earn a living, like. Every day, it wouldn't be a good day. And a fisherman's life, like, it's like what they say, a boat stands for break out another 1,000, B-O-80. You know what I mean? Everything went into a boat and money. Nets, ropes, corks, diesel, a breakdown then disaster. Like, I mean, everyone think they're millionaires out. They're not. They don't even mix up, they don't make nothing. But when you boil it all down to you know what I mean? There's nothing really out. And just the freedom is in your head. It's in you, the sea is in you. You know what I mean? Whatever it's called.
And like this town has a big long tradition with fishing and the sea and all that.
Dungarvan Hake, that's what it's known as, Dungarvan Hake. And like they ploughed them into the lands from when there was so much hake at that time. I mean, I remember as a young boy going over with my father, probably go to and go down into the trawlers, the western boats, like, you know, Ned Power from Dunmore and different lads, like, you know what I mean? And for years to see them men coming off, and white chuffs just spotless, a big table out, and a big leg of lamb or bacon, and they're cutting it off, like, you know what I mean? But the boats were spotless. They were the old 50-footers. You know what I mean? And you go down into them and you get a big feed of spuds and cabbage all up on the table. But everything had to be spotless. Like, I mean, the rubber was in the galley, it had to be spotless, like. You know what I mean? And
there's a big connection too with Newfoundland, isn't there, with this area?
Newfoundland, yeah. Yeah, they would be the powers. A lot from Dunmore East up to shore, Waterford, like, you know what I mean? I don't know much about this town now, like, you know what I mean? It's like the sort of vessels now we are sailing down the banks of Newfoundland, where the water runs deep and the bottom's all sand. Where the fish of the ocean, they swim to and fro. She's an Abbeyside packet, Lord God leave her go. We'd have to bring Abbeyside into it, you know, when you'd be inside in the pub, you know. And all that crack, I used to have no sea shanties and you'd be hearing them over in the public and all the old stories. Do you know what I mean? And it was a pleasure, like, to stand among the men, like, and they'd be standing over at the pond on Abbeyside and they'd be telling stories. But as a boy, you wouldn't be allowed to stand where the adults was talking, like, but sometimes you might get in and they're old yarns. Do you know what I mean? It's man from Abbeyside, and there was a wake on and he was on the bottle going around. But what he done, he went to all the teetotalers and he poured out a drop. Jimmy, no, we don't drink, you know. Oh, Lord, to mercy on the dead, we can't put it back in the bottle. Bang, down it. And the lads was gasping, you know. And like, you listen to all, I said to one man, he trained us how to sing a lot of old songs, you know. And I said, Felix, I said, did you ever court a girl in your time? I tried it once, he said. I met a girl at a wake. And she gave me a slap into the jaw, and that finished my love life, he said. At a wake, like I said to myself, you know, but he used to be there, and he was a beautiful singer. Like there was a village, the village inn, like over. Oh Jesus, there was a history, and there was some tapes there made out, but there was one big tape. The more the war, I tell you one thing, there was some stories told there, and there was a window then. If the wife was gone to town, you had a cover coming over the causeway, and if she was coming up by the sea wall, you had a cover from the other window. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't get caught, like. She couldn't get at you. So if you see her coming, you went into the toilet. She did look in, you know what I mean, like, not there. But like, all the strokes was pulled, like, I mean.
So it wasn't from the guards you were running, it was the wife?
Well, yeah, but you like, there was always a kind of a, there's all, like, there's a trick in everything, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you learn all the tricks off the old fellas how to do, but I mean, it was all in good spirit, like. I mean, I had a happy upbringing, like. I mean, yes, I had a great mother and a great father, like, you know what I mean? Great brothers and sisters. I remember my brother in, the best of me not dead very long, and it kind of, it still upsets me even today, like. You know what I mean? It's only a couple of weeks ago, basically, you know. But like, I mean, he brought me down to New Ross the day after my communion, to a match beside us playing. And even at that time, he was at the bar drinking a pint with the lads. And I bolted again, I heard the band and I took off. Now that's a long time ago, and I still remember the box into the ear again. They were running away, because when he looked on, I was gone. I followed the band, you know what I mean? But like, then like, when my father passed away, like, he kind of took over all the boats, like, and he was the governor then, like. And, you know, we'd be tinkering and tacking at boats up to the day he died. We were putting all the boats in the water that day. Like, a lot of people in Dungarvan, everybody knew him, like. That was the plan. I said, I might go to England on Tuesday, so we can do the Monday, can't we? He said, you know. But he loved the boats. He was 84 and a half. But he loved the boats up to that day. He loved the sea. Get up in the morning, he was retired, straight to the pier. That was his first stop. And then late at night, that was his last stop. And he kind of, then my grandson came along the age, and he kind of, he'd be collecting him from school, and he turned out to be the boss. Didn't you, Jaden? You were the governor then, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Number one. And he'd pick him up from school and bring him on the bike. And he brought all my children out in the boats, like. There's photographs of them, every one of them was through the boat. I remember I was hauling nets out of a trailer one day out in the garden. And it was freezing. And it was sleet. And Lisa, my oldest daughter, she couldn't keep her, she wanted to be involved in the boats, like, in the nets. You know what I mean? She was in the trailer, and this woman passed. Look at that man, that poor child, and he made her haul out the nets, like. But she wanted to be in there, you know what I mean? And that was part of life for up, like. It's like all my sisters, like. I mean, the cracks we used to have, like, growing up, like. I mean, we'd be always singing. Coming home from the pictures, you'd hear us before you see us, like. We'd be singing up the door. There were no lights or nothing there on the street then, like. And you'd hear us singing, come up the pictures, you know, and everybody happy, like. We had nothing, but we had everything.
And was there any, you said there was a lot of singing in the house, but was there any instruments?
No, my uncle all right used to play. My uncle now could have done 1919, he sang on radio. We had Billy, my Uncle Billy. He was very medical, but he was a guy out on Harbour. And his sons were into, and his daughter up in Dublin. Yeah. She was into Ailish, and Seamus died. He was the captain of the ship too, ship's captain. But he was into music in Scotland. And my son now, Matthew, he's into the music into it big time too, like. He's in London, like.
Okay.
And other boy is up in Cork, Bill. He's my youngest boy, and the oldest boy is out in Abu Dhabi, like, you know. But the two oldest lads, they fished with me now. They were on their boats, like. They had a dragon for a while, and then they Matthew went up to Fraserburgh in Scotland, and working on the herrings, like, you know, with a local boy, Robert Keane. And he done all right up there, like, I think he got good digs anyway. He met this girl and our mother took him under his wing, I believe, but anyway, he came back anyway, and then he went on to London. So well in London, you know what I mean? And Pat is out in Abu Dhabi and Bill is out in Cork.
And Johnny, do you remember when you were a child, like the activities in the square, we say from the fair and the horse fair and all that?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, the Connemara ponies, Bobby Kane used to have about 90, but not the Mr. and Bobby. My uncle actually, Joe, I had an uncle there, my uncle Joe, and he used to import fish and export it, you know, from Lake Low. Johnny Ball, he had a little place over there on Abbey side, Paddy White's garage up there. I think we actually lived in the house at one stage, you know, back in, like I came from Slate Lane, and that was the poem was written about. Like the bear was the sand bear, basically gone out harbour, and Slate Lane is where we were born. You know what I mean? But Cromwell feared to tread, like. So like there's a meaning to everything was in that poem. But you said about it.
The horse fair and
the horse fair, yeah. There was like there was hundreds and hundreds of cows and cattle and horses. And then you know what I mean, we'd be jumping up on the horses. Like at that time you were trained like Frankie Leahy, like on Abbey side, Grattan man, God bless him, and he'd show you out the scuffle with the old horses. Do you know what I mean? And show you picking spuds and showed you don't trade, like. If you ride the horses, like, show respect for them. But the fairs were massive then. Cows, they used to be rotten, but I mean, clean doctors, no poison, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, it was Dungarvan a lovely town, like.
Would you get a bit of work then when you were kids?
You get a bit of work, all right, but you get no money for it.
Okay.
That kind of way. You just enjoyed being around horses. I used to be riding an old donkey for a man, John Joe Young there. He had an old guard up there. He used to give me a few bob at the end of the week, you know what I mean? And there's a Mrs. McRae down there in the corner there, the last house down there. That's up from the pier. She kind of stayed with home like with her son, racing down pigeons and all, you know. Pigeons was a big part of my life too, growing up. Still is today, you know.
Wait, do you still keep pigeons?
Yes, pigeons, yeah.
Go ahead.
People over at Congress Village with John and Kevin Crotty, like, you know. As I said to the boys, I taught you, well, their father was my old buddy, you know. When he passed on, I went on to them, like, you know.
And like that's kind of dying out, isn't it? The pigeon hunt, the pigeon race.
Yeah, because everyone, see, when we were growing up, we didn't have nothing, like. I mean, like, Lord of Mercy and Tommy Wade, he was Councillor Wade. He had a little place over Ice Cream, and Nancy O'Leary had a little place up there. And that was your treat, like a bag of chips at Donny Whalen's or McDarty's. And then there was an old place, Balls up you get crew beans and all. You see them now down Waterford, pile of fat mate in Waterford, the city. You know what I mean? But Waterford is known for fat mate, like. But like that was your treat, like, if you get to the pictures then, you know what I mean? You the bobs and the 1 and 7s, like, but you had to earn the money for the pictures because your parents didn't have it, like. But like, they kind of, how would I put it, like, the crack would be mighty inside the pictures, like. And involved the girls and all, you know what I mean? But then we the best.
Would you remember sneaking into the expensive seats and all that?
Oh yeah, and then you get burned. You know, if you put your arms around the girl, you were gone, burned. No, that's the truest thing there. It was all in innocence, but John Hogan and all the rest go down the flesh, gone.
Because you're courting the girl.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to put your arms around Hogan, like, you know what I mean? And he come down with the flesh then, but like, he'd bear you for so long, but the crack used to be great, like, and there was all westerns at that time. Do you know what I mean? If there was a western on, you go every night to see the same western if you had the money. Do you know what I mean? It was all, like, life was, like, now they say different walks, like, keep it simple. We did keep it simple, like. We lived a kind of a simple life. I mean, we thought we were born under the cabbage be Jesus, like, what, I don't know. But like when you go off to town then and, like, you know what I mean, you'd have a laugh with all the boys, like, you know what I mean. And, like, there were no pubs at that time, but I remember I went to Turkeys, playing 45, up in the pub in Abbey side. And I thought if I didn't go along and correct them, that my man wouldn't bring him down. And he's run down and my mother said to me, John, she said, where did you win the turkey? She said. I said, man, up in the CYMS club up in Mary Street in town. And how did Thomas Crotty bring him down? She said. He had a pub up, man. I was God. Shouldn't have been even in there. You know what I mean? But like, you got away with it. You can sing it now in a minute.
Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, just before we leave the subject of the racing pigeons, Johnny, where would you leave them off from in a race?
Well, in a race that we start off in the early days in I started racing, my brother gave me the buzz that I must have been in 63. And we started off the first race in Kilkenny. And then we went to Ballybrophy, Dublin, Dundalk, Larne, then across to Scotland, right up to, like say, Dungarvan, Hamilton, or it could be Morsheling, Cooper 5, Perth.
And how long would it take a pigeon?
I've been up to all them places, right up. I stood on the cliffs Tulsa, like, you know what I mean? And you've ran John O'Groats, and I went out to John O'Groats, about 10 miles out. And you look out then at the Orkney Islands, and to some site like Scotland, like that. But I done what the pigeons do. But my God, how they done it, I don't know. But
And Johnny, how long would it take a pigeon to get from Scotland to here, we say?
well, I think the fastest time was about 10 and a half hours. 9 and a half into Mallow and Cork. See, in them days we didn't have any sports like much. We didn't have hurling fields like they have now, like. So we made a lot of them, like the lads made the sport of the pigeon racing, which is the only sport you can have in your own back garden. Because if you have greyhounds, you must go to the track. And a lot of film stars, Yul Brynner kept pigeons, Clint Eastwood kept pigeons, Marvin Hagler, the boxer, Mike Tyson, the Queen Mother had pigeons.
But it was a working man's sport.
It was a working man's sport, yeah. Same in England and Wales, the valleys.
The miners and all that kind of stuff.
You know what I mean? And cage sport was a great thing. Everyone had a finch out in the wall or whatever, like, and want to be trying to beat the other. But now you're not able to have a canary, or not a canary, but a white finch or a bullfinch, something like that. But like the old people kept it simple, like. That's all they had. They had very little like hurling. There was no hurling fields there, lads, you know. I mean, our first hurling field in Abbeyside was out on cliffs out Budgery there. And we used to play street leagues. Like, we were playing on the streets, like. I mean, under the light even. You know what I mean? Pitch and toss. Pitching the halfpennies up to the bob and all like that, like. The guards come after you then. Run like hell.
But that was a gambling game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Penny brag, you know, we playing brag. Do you know what I mean? It was, the girls would come after you, like, if you kept running, if you got away, you got away, and if you didn't, you got away, one of the two. But anyway.
And this is your grandson?
That's my grandson, Jaden. Look up, Jaden.
Jaden, where do you go to school?
Abbeyside.
All right, so you're an Abbeyside man as well?
Yeah, Abbeyside Skullvera.
Okay. And what class are you in?
I'm going into second.
Okay. And do you like school?
Yeah.
Okay. And come here, have you ever been out on the boat?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. And come here, I heard you're a good singer.
Yeah.
Will you sing us another song? Just a short one.
Small one, Jaden. He was out with his name, who you were?
I'm in alone or I'm a soccer song.
Whichever you want.
What do you want to sing?
I'll sing alone.
Okay.
Alone, alone, by my side. All alone, alone. By my side, all alone, alone. Alone, by my strand. All alone, by my strand. All alone, alone. Nini sing that.
Thank you, that's lovely, thanks very much.
He was number one with Nindy's, his uncle.
Okay, thanks very much.
He was the top man coming along.
Okay.
He was being trained in, you know what I mean, in the boats, like he was your best man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Number one, is it?
Yeah.
Look up at the camera, tell him. What was he by?
My uncle.
He was your number one.
One.
And you support Liverpool?
Yeah.
Why do you support such a terrible team? I'm only joking, you know.
He's joking, right? No, he used to be with my brother then the whole time.
Okay.
He was the man coming up now in the boats, like, so someday he'll be. There's a pile of organs there, like, you know. There's more organs in every side there is the human body, like. That's what they say, you know. But like, Like growing up, like as I say, like as you see yourself, that's a lovely town.
Yeah.
We've every facility here. I mean, I remember saying to the works manager of the factory, Tom Booth, and it was only a 9-hole, and I said to him, I said, very shortly, Tom, I said, there'd be an 18 hole, there's 3 18 holes. And there's a Pigeon Port Club, there's a bowling place, then you have the new Greenway. I mean, you have every facility you want here. You have lovely hotels and bars. You know what I mean? Like, I think myself is a lovely town. Like,
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, it's peaceful. There's no bother like this. I think it like amazing. On the bridge, I would linger at sweet evening tide, just to gaze over the waters at old Abbey side. See, well, we're asleep over there, you know. You know what I mean? But like, Dungarvan, my hometown, is sang all over the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lovely. It's a better the town got. Definitely. You know?
Well, John, thanks a million for doing the interview.
Well, like, before I finish up, like, I'd like to say thanks to like all the lads that I grew up with, who are having a look at this, like, you know what I mean? Because you always felt proud, like, you're a proud family, like, and a happy family. You always, like, you know what I mean? And always there to help out people, like.
And there's a great sense of community from Abbeyside.
Yeah, we were very close knit, like, you know. But then most of my family, most of my friends in there, like, they all came from Dungarvan, like, you know. I don't know why, but they did, like. And then, like, you part company then when you get married, like, you know what I mean, and you go your own way, you know. But I mean, like, to see the town building, like, as you say, there was only a crane there, like. But then again, it makes you sad when you see no more trawlers coming into the garden, no more cargo ships. I mean, I worked on the docks, you know what I mean, on slag boats, grain boats, timber boats, coal boats, you know what I mean? And, like, it was hard work, but you were well able to work in, like, and if you wasn't able, you didn't do it. But I mean, you work with the farmers, you could go to Balnacourty, you were never idle, you had winkle picking, pick winkles, if you know what I mean, whatever you had. There was always a way of making a crust, like. You had a few bob for the pictures or whatever. You know, there were hard times, but they were happy times.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? And like, as you see me talking to Mary Kind here and Tish Bohm and her sister, like, and you heard what I was saying to them, having the crack, like. And that's the way I'd be with anyone, like, you know what I mean? It costs nothing to be polite, like, you know what I mean? I mean, if you could help someone or put someone right, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes I goes up to the boat and I might be 2 hours there talking to some tourists. And I said, I'm going to go up to the tourist office and I'm going to say, are there any of you bobbing them for me? Like? That I was spending more time doing their work, I think, than doing my own work. That kind of way, you know. But
you're a tourist attraction yourself.
And the county manager used to sit down, like the ex-county manager, and another one, Brian White, and just come out the mornings or whatever after the luncheon. I'd be sitting down and I'd say, lads, it's nearly 2 o'clock, it's time to go back to your last cages now. And I'm listening to the seagulls, I said, you know what, peace of mind you can't buy, I said. All the money, you know what I mean? And I said, peace of mind, money, you can't buy that. And they can't buy it. You have all the money in the world, and if your mind is not at rest. It's like the song goes, and a troubled mind will know no rest, and still she cries. But he buys a few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do?
Thank you very much.
God bless, lads.
Thanks very much, John.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
No, Jane, say thanks to the lads.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Aidan, for giving us a song and an interview. Thank you.
No.
Thanks very much, John.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. That was lovely.